My name is Danny Haynes, and welcome to the review of episode 94 of the Markwho42 podcast. And also, welcome to Markwho42 Hooniverse. On episode 94, Mark and the gang only completed the interview trifecta with British actor Christopher Dane, who had a small but by no means insignificant role in the show. And by no means insignificant, I mean that even though he was on screen for about 20 seconds, the producers of the show brought him down to the studio instead of just pre-recording him off-set. Christopher Dane played Mission Control McKean, where we only get to see him through a monitor on the show. But even though his role was small, they still took the time to make a set just for him, so that way he could live interact with the other actors and increase the mood that they were trying to set for the scene. Christopher Dane is an award winner for Best Actor at the London Independent Film Festival in 2011 for a movie called Being Sold. It's a feature-length movie that they shot in 2 days. 2 days! Kudos, guys. He also went on to say that he's just gotten his first writing credit for a movie that he wrote called The Four Warriors. You should keep an eye out for that. And also something to look out for is a fantasy web-based series created and shot by Chris and his girlfriend, whom he went on to mention is the director for the project, called Ren, R-E-N. Look that up by going to Ren the Series, R-E-N, theseries.com. Christopher Dane mentioned that he loved sci-fi and fantasy series, so much so that he said that a lot of his projects have been fantasy-based. For instance, you can go onto YouTube and look up Born of Hope, which is a Lord of the Rings prequel, as he called it. Yeah, I know, you're gonna say, prequel to The Lord of the Rings? Well, that's The Hobbit. Okay, so it's more like an in-between quill. It somewhat follows the story of Aragorn, pre-Lord of the Rings trilogy. It focuses heavily on what brought him to the beginning of The Lord of the Rings. The movie was shot low budget, non-profit, and released on YouTube. Christopher Dane played Aragorn, Aragorn's father. And after him mentioning this on the podcast, I actually went on YouTube and watched it. For a non-profit, low-budget base, I actually think they did a damn good job. They have really good location setting, and the costumes were a hell of a lot better than something you'd see in like one of those straight-to-DVD fantasy movies, like The Name of the King, or any one of the countless Scorpion King sequel movies, or any other movie that has to do with a king. You can look up Christopher Dane on christopher-dane.com if you want to keep up to date with any other projects that he has coming out, such as Ren the Series, The Four Warriors. Maybe he'll even get that spot on Game of Thrones that he wants. Although I don't think you're going to make it 2 seasons if you do, 'cause they killing everybody in that show. Now, Christopher was also asked by the gang if he would ever go back on to Doctor Who as either the same character, a distant relative of the character they played, or as a creature. Now, from those choices, Christopher Dane said that he would like to come back on as a distant relative of the character that he played in Kill the Moon. But I mean, come on guys, this is Doctor Who. This is a show where we had future Dr. Peter Capaldi, future companion Karen Gillan, in the same David Tennant episode. If they have him back on, he'll definitely be a completely different character, unrelated to the one that he played in Kill the Moon. Christopher Dane was a pretty interesting guy to interview. With only like a 20-second role in the episode, he really did have a lot to say. And here's to hoping that we see Christopher Dane in any future episodes. And now on to MegaCon. For all you mega fans of mega franchises out there, MegaCon is the place to be. April 10th through the 12th. There's going to be panels on top of panels, from a lot of your favorite franchises. Of course, the top one that we're going to talk about is the Doctor Who one. Doctor Who appearances are going to feature Rory the Roman, Arthur Darvill, Amelia Pond, the girl who waited, Karen Gillan, the Impossible Girl, Clara Oswald, Jenna Coleman herself, current companion of the Doctor. And my personal favorite, and I'm really jealous that you guys get to go to this, River Song herself, Alex Kingston. Christian, if you can, get a picture of Alex Kingston holding the traveling TARDIS. There's also going to be a Sons of Anarchy panel with Ron Perlman, and another panel that I'm jealous that I don't get to go to is the Firefly panel. And of course, unless you've been living under a rock or something, Markwho42 is going to have a panel. That's right, Markwho42 is going to have a panel on Sunday, room 206A, from 1:25 to 2:15 p.m. But of course, times and date are subject to change. Now, because of location, Eduardo and Trish will not be at MegaCon. So the Markwho42 panel team will consist of Mark and Christian, and Patrick Hawkins, and Samantha Rosebarone. And also, if you can't wait till Sunday, Search around on the floor for the Geeks of Comedy booth. That's where you'll find Markwho42. Alright guys, that's about all the time I have for you today. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. Hit this little link over here for the like button. Somewhere up here, I think, for the share button. Way down below is the comment section. This has been Danny Haynes on the Markwho42 podcast, episode 94. Hope you enjoyed.
Markwho42 Universe.
David Bowie's pants.